Welcome back. Up next, we've got our next panel, Smart Venues and Festivals, the New Customer Journey. On the panel, we have Jean-Yves Romand from Les Ardents, Ricardo Lira Araya, who is an architect, musician, and a producer, Maxime Faget, co-founder of Blockchain, and Wouter Vermeulen, founding director of YesPlan. Hosting today is Ivan Boudier. Ivan, over to you.
Thanks, Sudha. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey,
Hello.
hey.
Ivan.
Cool. Thanks for being here. This is a really special panel because we're going to talk about the customer journey mostly on site. And as we all know, most of the festivals and venues are not welcoming all of them back, the fans. But let's be optimistic and let's look at the near future and with concert resuming. First of all, I would like to invite you, the four of you, to introduce yourself, your company or your organization, and your role, and then we will discuss the topic. Ricardo, please. It's been a while.
Okay. Hi, Ivan. Hey to everyone. I'm Ricardo Lira from Chile. I'm a Chief Innovation Officer for Bizarro. I'm in charge of Bizarro Lab. Of course, the innovation unit for the whole company. We are promoters, venue owners in Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Santiago. We own 2 arenas for 16,000 people. And of course, we produce a lot of festivals and music events and stuff. So super glad to be here and talk about our journey and our process in innovation for our venues.
Great, thanks. Jean-Yves, my neighbor here for today.
Yeah. Hello, Yvan. Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Yves Romand. I'm working for Les Ardentes Festival, which normally should host Walifornia Music Tech for a few days. It's a 4-day festival in Belgium, took place in July, mostly on urban hip-hop music, and it attracts around 100,000 people every year. But we are also running a small concert club of 600 capacity here in Liège, Belgium, and also a jazz festival. And we are working on several events like Ronquière Festival. Now this year on Arena 5, it's a new project of an open-air concert venue in Brussels.
And your role, Jean-Yves, in all of this?
Yes, in all of this, I'm working as a programmer, booking agent, and also I'm also into communication and marketing.
Great. So in touch with the audience and the fans,
yes.
Right? Maxime, your turn. Please join the stage and introduce yourself.
Hi. Yes, so I'm Maxime Faget. I'm co-founder of Blockchain Maillard, which is actually being renamed fairly at the moment, so I'm a bit spoiling on that new name. What we do is that we provide a solution for events and venues. They use it to manage their ticketing, their payments. It has a cashless module, for instance, or their communication, because they can also communicate the program via this application. But so we work a lot on the notion of engagement from the audience towards these events or venues. And the vector we're using for that is transparency. So we are showing how the money flows generated by an event or a venue are being distributed to their beneficiaries, such as the artist or, the providers, the local providers of the drink, and so on. So we are sort of making light upon the whole value chain surrounding an event. And the logic behind this is the same a bit as in fair trade consumption. So you know what you're buying, you know what you're contributing to as an audience, and that provokes more engagement in your commitment to a venue or to a place.
So being smart for being fairer and most transparent in a way. Thanks, Maxime, for that contribution. And Wouter, last but not least, welcome. And can you introduce your company and yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Wouter Vermeulen, one of the founders and CEO of YesPlan. YesPlan originates from a huge art center, Vooruit, in Ghent, Belgium. And coming out of a need we experience daily in daily operations at the Brad, we started with YesPlan. So YesPlan is a venue management system. So we take care of the full back office of an organization. So everything that has to do with managing your rooms, all the resources, light equipment, sound, catering, hotels, all the artists, staffing, contracts, finance. But we're part of an ecosystem. So we're an open system. We love being used by everyone in an organization, from the artistic director up to technicians, cleaning ladies, everyone who needs the latest information on the events. And we integrate with the other systems within a venue. So like we're in the heart of the ecosystem, and we integrate with the front-end systems like ticketing, websites, media screens, narrowcasting. So unless you work in a venue, chances are huge that you didn't hear of us before, since we really operate in the back office of a venue.
Yeah, and also because technology has to be transparent every time where we say that and seamless. But
Yes.
and it's really good to have all of you here, because I guess you have a big responsibility with this panel, because this is a smart venues and festival day, and this is the time to try to define what it means. So this is with you that we're going to try to crack that. Ricardo, starting with you, because as the Chief Innovation Officer in a not big but big enough group with different venues, different size and festivals. Let's start to, let's say, from macro to micro, try to define what does it mean when we try to talk about smart venues and festivals. Is it only about tracking data and using data, or is it about the crowd management, or is it all of the above? Like, can you try to define the different pieces you see in the consumer journeys that may use new technologies and data, and then we open.
Okay. Yeah, for a big promoter like us in Latin America, to make little thing and test and prototypes, it's kind of a difficult thing itself, because we produce big festivals. So, but for us, the beginning was collecting data. We don't have anything, we didn't have anything at all, besides tickets. How many tickets it's inside the venue, and how many, burgers did you sell, in a show? That's it. And so we start this acceleration program to connect with startups and universities and other people in innovation in Chile to connect some dots in the in the innovation ecosystem. But the beginning was we need data. Please help us. We launch a call for everyone to help us in that way. So at the beginning, we start with Felix. Actually, I think Felix Barros from
Felix
Chile,
Barros. It's an amazing job.
Music Tech. Yeah, we started a prototype in a festival. We said, okay, well, let's have all the metrics, for this festival. And this, which one is our next festival? It was a one in Talca, in the south of Chile. It's the biggest festival in Chile. It's like 500,000 people in 3 days. So this guy is a startup, trying to collect data in a huge place, but with that exercise, with that example, we start to know a little bit more about our customer, about the economy in the town during the festival, of course, about the rating, and the ranking for every single artist, and how many people with some kind of disabilities, was inside of the festival, stuff like that. How many girls, boys, people from First People Nation, stuff like that. We didn't know anything before that. So we start from that point to develop a process to collect data, not only for the customer journeys, not only for the experience, but also about the energy, about how much water we are using in our venues, how much paper and garbage we're wasting, after every single burger, stuff like that. But we needed to match everything with our different kind of
Layers of data, yeah.
clients. And yeah, because we have venues, we have festivals, and in one festival we have one day for, I don't know, oldies, another day is for cumbia, another day is for pop. And so we have different kind of public, a different kind of audience. And in our venue, the venue is rented by one promoter for Pearl Jam, and the other day it's for Iron Maiden, and the other day is for J Balvin. So we have different experience. So we start to connect. Okay, how many ways we have with J Balvin instead of Iron Maiden, and we start to connect the dots. Oh, this guy buys more merch, but also have more waste and on glasses. Because they drink a lot of beer and they threw everything away. So we start to connect all the dots to understand better our clients, of course, and what can improve in the process. So that's the point that we're now. Having
Super
some
interesting,
kind of
because yeah, we can spend an hour just with that use case, because we can discuss about the source of data, the touch points, the methodology to deduplicate whatever. And I guess I would love to hear now Wouter on that, because I think this is interesting to see how it could be, all of this can be processed also with a software approach or some kind of workflows based on the rough data that is collected. How do you see that from intelligence from rough data to intelligence? How do you go there with the software, or what is your methodology at YesPlan to make that happen? All this set of data to give a meaning to it. We don't hear you.
Yes, sorry. on the basic level within your organization, given that you have one system which collects all the information, is the first step to be aware, or to get all the data, to compare events, and to get to conclusions. So this is something that it's really one of the benefits of a venue management system, to make sure that all the data is in one system. And since we integrate in an open way with ticketing, with web, you can also combine the information of different systems. Since we know how many people were there, and we can combine it with resources, how many drinks were or waste has been collected, etc., etc.
And who is designing them? Because I think we are already on the modelization, but because I guess this is great to have all of this data, but then to make some kind of to connect the dots between metalheads are wasting more, and what kind of people are in the company, in your company? Is it also only tech people, or data scientists, or sociologists? You see what I mean? What do you need?
Yeah. Well, every venue can do this on their own within YesPlan, but this is on their organization level. The next big thing, according to me, is that we have this data from more than 300 venues by now, and probably in 2 years' time of 500 venues, is to compare the data of the different venues, and to give, like, once a year a big data report, like, hey, this is what you do. Here you can improve your organization. And it's not only about sustainability and ecology, but also on the use of your venue. Like you have a concert hall. Hey, we see in comparison with a similar venue in another city that your coverage is low, or this or that. So it's really immense, the amount of data. But one thing is, to have all this data, and I know a company in the UK who have been doing this on a ticketing level for their clients, but they had like two data scientists working for a year on the data to connect the dots. One thing is to have all the data, but you also have to spend a lot of time to get to the right conclusions, and to get to a big data report that is being usable in practice. Yeah,
I think that's one of the big questions, because going to you, Jean-Yves, if you may, because I guess how it seems that technology is here, the way to collect data, the way to process data is here, but then what do you do with it? And because you are kind of small organization, right? How many people are working for Les Ardentes, for instance?
Actually, we're 10 people full-time, but with 3 working only for the new reflector, for example. So that's that many people.
And if you receive that big dashboard, is it something you can process instantly, like to get some conclusion out of it and some decision to be made?
It will be actually it will be very hard to process with this kind of data. Everything I hear is really really interesting right now. I mean, it's just like a dream to collect all this data and to do something with it. But just as you said, here we have mainly for all our events, it's mainly data from the ticketing.
Yeah.
But they can be quite complete with the age, location, and everything. Now you can ask all your ticket buyers to fill all the info about them to receive the tickets. So you have a lot of data. Now we're not using cashless technology on Les Ardentes, but we will, and we are using it at Ronquière Festival. And it's also amazing that you can see, okay, this bar is doing well during this concert, and this other is not working, and so this is the kind of very first degrees data that you can have an impact and really quickly do something with it. But with all the rest, the ton, yeah, it's sure that you need someone capable and able to read them and to transform those data into something a promoter can read and do something with it.
Or somehow and somewhere some kind of artificial intelligence to take something out of it, but it's not yet there. Maxime, because I think what you've been doing so far with Blockchain Maillard as a collective and now as a standalone product, moving forward as Fairly, what is your view on that? Like the different sets of data that can be collected, and the challenge for even smaller festivals, maybe the one you're working with the most, to make a proper use of it, because even transparency is a great goal, but how do you make it effectively work when you are not tech people organizing a festival? There's that kind of dilemma of big tech and craft festival, you see?
Well, first, I mean, you can always make use of data, even if you're a small festival, you know, like even just on your personal individual consumption, you can make use of information regarding what you're wasting, spending too much on, and so on, like what is healthy for you, not healthy for you, you know, just as at the scale of one person, you can already make decisions based on this sort of data. So any scale or size of festival can make use of this, I think. Of course, if you scale it to a huge festival, you might make huge economies. But all in all, I think it's the same issue, and it has benefits for all. Then the question is, who do you address with this data? We've been working a lot with data visualization professionals and also some artists to try to, to formulate the information we had and we wanted to pass on. So we have two different audiences for our data. The first one is the professional himself. So we have something a bit classic there with like, okay, you can manage your stock, see which one is your best selling product, or things like this, you know, like if you don't have any milk or beer left or things like that. But we also have another eye to deal with at Blockchain Maillard and Fairly, which is the one of the audience, because we want to do this transparency thing. And there, of course, like this exact same information would not be very interesting for them. And I think it would feel a bit weird for organizers to just show absolutely everything, like every piece of soda that has been sold or things like that. So that would be a bit too intrusive. So we try then to give a sort of dramaturgy or like an angle to the data that comes out. And so then that's why we always talk a lot with the festival itself before they use the system to know what sort of angle they want to take and which data is relevant in their case, you know. And the last work that has been produced by someone working with us on the visualization resembles a bit, in my opinion, to something like a Guitar Hero interface somehow. So you have
Gamified? You mean
goals.
like a gamification of the data? Like a
In some way,
gamification?
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, the look is very sober. It's not looking like a video game, but something reminds me of it personally, like in the sense that the angle in this way is, okay, we have objectives to reach, and we have positions to fill, like we have to pay the artist, we have to do this and that, and we have products coming in, and they are providing financial input to this different post. Okay, and once we reach a certain limit, for example, we paid all the providers, we paid the room or whatever, there might be some bonus coming out from it, you know. And this thing is another data growing, basically, a sum of money which could be redirected to a charity, for instance. And from there on, you can also interest a lot your audience, especially if it's a regular audience, if you're a venue and your audience comes back once a week or once a day, even, I don't know. And then you can interact with them by saying, okay, we have this extra money that you can see you contributed to make, for instance. Where would you like, I mean, if you have a choice, if you want to say something about it, where would you like it to go? So this is how you also create another layer of relationship with your audience based on your data. But it all comes from a choice at the beginning. Like, do you want to make this sort of
option
available?
available? Yeah. I think it's interesting, and it brings us to the second part of that conversation, which is, so we discussed, we only scratch the surface of management, like optimizing workflows, optimizing waste, and let's say how to move even the stage design for next year based on the traffic, and there are so many things to be said here. When it comes to the interaction with the audience that you mentioned, Maxime, maybe going back to you, Ricardo, because being smart for a festival is also being more. It's about the interaction with the festival goers, right? And there is some kind of. I would like to ask you the question in form of a dilemma. The more we put in the hand of the festival goer applications to leave interaction, the less we potentially get them involved with what is on stage, right? This is something that has been said by different artists, like too much smartphone in the crowd. So how do you deal with that? Keep them engaged, participative, but also fully immersed in the experience.
Yeah, it's a total dilemma. Yeah, but for us, it's separated in two big things. The first is it's about the audience experience, and we are trespassing into we had a model like transactional model. Yes, you pay ticket, pay burger, go inside, see the show, that's it, and go out. Boom. It's super transactional.
Yeah.
And then we are moving into a more experienced, model. So every single touch point, every single, moment could be designed, and you can decide as a client, as an audience, if you want to listen more this song, or you want to be, in the first line of the, in the audience, or you want to be back having a beer, and your experience will be better if it fits with your expectations.
Yeah.
Otherwise you will be forced into some kind of a dictatorship of the experience that someone wants to have so we are super aware that every single audience is different, and they have moments. K-pop audience, they are super crazy, they want to get early, and in the venue they I don't know, like 10 hours before the event and stuff like that. And other guys are like, hey, I will jump in, just 1 minute before the event starts. So it's kind of different for everyone, and music and all the team and the venue have to be there for the people, not just for the artists. So we have to like balance a little bit. And in the other hand, we are super aware of more the logistic and all the things that are involved in a process for experience. So we realize that for every single event in our arena in Santiago, we had 2 or 3 tons of plastic before the event. So and a super huge like CO2 footprints, like super bad things, for the ecosystem. So we decide to move into a more greener or zero emission, venue, because people are super aware of that too, and they wanted to be involved in some experience that they're not being helpful for everyone. Like, hey, we want to have fun, yes, but we want to mess with the whole planet. So we messed we took the two things, and we are putting in the same basket to connect everything and help, and ask for help. We help. We need the people's help, because the biggest amount of damage for the environment is how people get in and the waste they produce, not the lights, not the jet, even the jet of the artist is the people how is getting into the venue. So these two steps we are taking carefully to have the first one more better experience, more connect with people, and then okay, let's help us to go into a greener venue development, and being really well connected to our audience, and not in general,
Not
but in a
general,
specific, because every single fandom is different. Every single
Sure.
city have their own. So data can help us to understand a better way to in the middle have better business with that. Not only
I think,
so we have to.
and I think this is not. This is also what I think Maxime is pursuing with blockchain My Art. It's while you are making transaction, you are creating engagement, and then you are making people responsible on both sides. Like it's a shared responsibility. Wouter, I would like to hear you about more on the let's say what kind of new services. It's part of the experience, but services, venues or connected venues could or will are about to bring to their audience. I've heard some project like you can find your seat more easily. You can book some food and to avoid the queue. Every services that can ease the pain within the venue with connection and smart approach. Are you working on that too, or how do you see that developing?
Well, what we do see is that, as was expressed in the beginning of the conversation, that is, there needs to be a good balance between the use of technology and the live experience.
Yeah.
So everything that helps giving you a better experience of the show or more convenience, that is fine. And we see a lot of stuff going on in that, as services for whether it goes over food or ticketing, parking, that everything is going digital. But we also see this happening in the back office.
Yeah.
To give an example, like we have an app which is on your phone, and it's like a walkie-talkie. But it's just on your mobile, so it's much more easier to hand out 200 apps than to hand out 200 walkie-talkies like on a festival. What I always find really interesting, also when you are designing YesPlan, one of my things I was really afraid of when I was building YesPlan, that YesPlan can also be abused or misused by organizations who want to get a lot of control over all the workflows, and that every decision within a creative artistic environment is being made by processes that are within a system. So we really try to design everything to keep the artistic thinking present in an organization. But we do see that in some regions, like in the Netherlands, where budgets are really tight and they guide artistic directions, that YesPlan is a bit used to in a way that I don't like. So we also try to avoid some to build in some stuff into our software. And I think this should be something we should be aware of every day, that technology is fine as long as it is
used properly and with fairly, and with
Yeah.
for the sake of music and engagement
Of the artist.
of the artist.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think this is something. I guess Jean-Yves, you can react on because we had yesterday that conversation during a panel about data in the use of data, especially in the live sector, with including Daniel from Primavera Pro, and we touched the subject of programming. So your main role at Les Ardentes, and the use of data or not for taking decision in terms of booking artists so I don't want to go back to that too much, but can you say your personal feeling about this new wave of data-driven tools in your work? Because you seem to be passionate about that, so not too much resistant to it, including in programming. It will be something you will welcome.
Yeah, sure. I know it's also a kind of old school world, programming, and yeah, a lot of programmers just prefer to do it on feelings and just with can you say data, just stuff that they collect from here and there. But no, it's true. You have more and more data on artists, so it will be stupid not to get them to do the best lineup you can. You can have very precise information from streaming, from ticket sales, where do they come, and etc. So yeah, it's cool. But as we already discussed that on another panel, I think you should keep a bit of this work to your feelings too. I mean, sometimes what makes difference, the difference that you make in your lineup can be a mistake. If you do everything well, if you book all the good bands at the good place, you will have probably the lineup that looks like every other lineup on the
planet.
On the planet. You will have all the major artists in your jar, and they will play on the right stage at the right time. So I think being a festival, it's also being different from the others, and that may become from I call that mistakes, but it's not. It's not
choice.
Really mistakes.
It might be called choices, right?
Yeah, it's choice. But
or
if
vision.
if you analyze this choice, it may look like a bad choice, because sometimes you can book an artist and it will not sell as good as you imagine, or the artist will not be as popular as you imagine when the festival comes. But even if there is only 100 people in front of this show, it will be probably the show of the festival, because it's something different, something special, and the people will see the show, will talk about it. So I think sometimes mistakes can be what makes you different from the others. And I haven't found an artificial intelligence that's
replace you.
That makes as good mistake as we do.
As you, that's a good one. We have 5 minutes left. I think I would like to hear all of you, the four of you, not as a conclusion, but with this term of balance between smart and creative, and maybe your take at Bizarro, with you at Blockchain Maillard, about the next step for you guys in this field, because we can also talk about privacy. There was before the COVID pandemic, there was a big move with face recognition in venues and festivals. And there was a backlash with Tom Morello against that, because the fans were against that kind of control, which was made for good reason. It was for safety anyway. So how to find that balance between the use of technology and creativity? Maxime, with fairly... how will you try to push more transparency, not spoiling creativity in a way? I don't know how to phrase that, but you see my point.
Yeah. Well, I think what we are doing so far is not touching the creative aspect of the festival so far. I think the way we're doing it could be applied to other types of, I don't know, businesses or even a shop or restaurant or community association house or something like this. So I think we're not really touching the creative aspect or programming part of the festival. But I would suggest, I agree with what Wouter was saying before regarding the fact that you have to be careful when you design your applications, because you have to think beforehand of all the possible misusages of it. So you have to think privacy by design, and you have to think about like creating an app that self-prevents from these sort of things. And when it comes to creativity, I mean, it's really interesting what Jean-Yves was saying also about it. I mean, I guess it's always a balance between, when you make a festival, you have to find the balance between pleasing your audience and surprising them. And I'm in favor of human mistakes in this sector, of course. Like,
Yes,
for me, it's
yes.
the most. That's something I expect when I go as an audience personally.
And this is
And
also
just one thing.
Go ahead, Maxime.
Yeah, about because we've been talking a lot about making venues or even smarter based on data use.
Yeah.
But I think that's not the only resource we have to make them smarter. For instance, when it comes to ecology, I mean, there are plenty of reports that are coming out. Like there was the Shift preliminary report that was issued in May this year about like all recommendations regarding the carbon in culture, basically regarding the booking schemes, or I don't know, the technology that is being used for sound and light and so on. And this is, I mean, these are very, very concrete facts also we can base ourselves on.
Yeah.
Because this data, I mean, studying only your audience or only your infrastructure might give you only a biased or like a limited picture of what can be done or what should be done for your place, or in general for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to go to
global approach.
You know, consultants like the Green Room, I know in France, all these sort of things, but just really go deep with you into the whole problem as an ecosystem and not only your perspective as an event or festival.
Super interesting. Yeah. Ricardo, the final word on, maybe balance, maybe whatever, or maybe a call for startups. What is the next? I think there is one or two topics you are exploring innovation, and you are welcoming startups to challenge you. What are those right now?
We will have a new call in 1 month. So I will ask for help, you guys in California, to spread the word.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think for final words for us, interaction is I think the more important thing. And I'm seeing a world, hybrid world, with events going live, and you will have a parallel twin digital event, and people will be able to connect with people in live and digital, and have, I don't know, digital stages on top of a live event, and of course metaverse and all the stuff that Unreal and Epic are doing is very interesting. It's blowing my mind.
This is totally mind-blowing. And we have the last panel for the day before the artist panel for the closing note is about the immersive festivals with Anne from Overview.
And actually, we had a Fortnite battle royale in our arena, 4 months ago. So we start like connecting a few things with Unreal, and so I think creativity is not, in problem. It's the opposite. Imagine a world without gravity to produce festivals, and everyone is invited.
I think it's more about responsibility of the stakeholders to make it not right, but to make it balanced. Yeah, that's pretty much.
It will change, but it will change in a good way, I think.
Jean-Yves, before I give the mic to Wouter for the last word. So I guess you look forward, no doubt, Les Ardentes to come back next year. But what will you do of your time by then? In terms of you will crunch loads of data all day, right? So that's what you're going to do.
we already have some concert this summer.
Hopefully.
With all these COVID safe tickets and everything in Ronquière will take place, and around 20 concerts in Arena 5 in Brussels. So I will have some. I hope I will have live show this.
Let's cross fingers.
This summer. But yeah, just to finish, yeah, something we haven't really discussed, but I think it's really important. It's also to have the artist involved in
sure.
all this in all this process, because that's the main thing about our business. That's the artists that make people come to the festival or to the venue. And sometimes that's not always so easy to have data from the artist or to work data with the artist, because they can they will learn things from our data, and we will learn things from their data. So I think getting artists more involved into all these tech
effort and initiatives.
Into this tech initiative will be an improvement for everyone, for venues and artists, I guess.
I still need to give the mic to Wouter, and I want. It could be a great final cut, like artist. This is pretty much the same at every panel. I love it. Artist first, but Wouter, you have the final word. Your mic.
Well, thank you. I will keep it short. Jean-Yves, if you're looking for help with your big data and to collect every dot, I will be glad to help you out.
Thank you. I already note the.
Yeah, great.
I checked this.
Yeah, my last words. I think what I said before. I think smart venues is fine. It's something we should all strive for to make the organization better, the experience better. But as long as it's with the main goal we all have in mind to make a better artistic experience worldwide.
With emotion at the core, right? Still.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll leave you on that. Thanks, everyone.
So pleased to hear that it was finalized with the artist coming around. So it's a great through line coming through here. Thank you very much. In fact, next we have the panel that Ivan was talking about, immersive venues and festivals at 4 p.m. CEST. We have our panel, Caitlin Robinson and Louis Cacchiatolo, with a host, Anne McKinnon. We'll meet them after the break. Thank you.